everybody. We are back with another video. Tonight we are going to talk about why do I get headaches at night. I am Dr. Heather Moore, owner of Total Performance Physical Therapy. So this is a question that I get asked a lot because once you wind up sitting down, a lot of people will wind up with headaches, or when you go to sleep you wind up getting a headache. And why does that happen as opposed throughout the day? So most headaches, and I'm not talking about migraines. Migraines are headaches that are light sensitive, sound sensitive. Like if you have a migraine, you know it. There's no mistaking a migraine and a tension headache. So what we're going to talk about tonight is tension headaches, which is what generally comes up at night. Migraines happen at all sorts of times, but tension headaches actually usually wind up coming later in the day, at night, when you're kind of settled down. And what is the problem with that, and why do those occur? So they're called tension headaches because they're muscle related. And with everything going on, there's been a lot more stress in our lives recently, and that plays into our muscles and how our muscles react and respond. And this is kind of a big issue, and a lot of people don't understand that headaches, while if you Google a headache, can be linked to brain tumors and cancer and everything else, most of it the time it's just a lot of posture related issues that need to be corrected. So when you get a headache at night, and why you generally get them at night and not in the morning. First of all, when you wake up in the morning, unless your bed is completely not appropriate for you, or you sleep on your stomach or something like that, your neck is generally recovered through the night. It's rested, it hasn't done any work, it's relieved, it's been in a nice position for a while. Sometimes you can wake up with a kink, I get that, but for the most part, very few people wake up with headaches in the morning unless that's a sign of a bad pillow or a bad mattress. But what happens is when you wake up nice and refreshed, your muscles have had appropriate blood flow throughout the night, you haven't been hunched over, you haven't been looking at devices, you haven't been in improper posture, you're just waking up and you're nice and relaxed. So as you go about your day, what happens is you wind up, most people carry their tension somewhere in their neck and shoulder area. Now devices, laptops, cell phones, all these things that allow us to be sitting stationary or just looking down have led to increased headaches. And so you get up and all of a sudden, right away, you're down like this and you're looking like this. So what's going to happen is you're going to wind up doing this with your shoulders. This is going to be a more pronounced posture. Now the problem with this is you don't even know you're doing this. And it's not like someone's going to be able to look at you and tell. So I'm over-exaggerating the movement that usually happens, because obviously you're not going to walk around like this. Someone would notice. But this is the movement that occurs. And this is what happens. And what happens is you start off here, and then you're here, and then you're here, and then you're here. And before you know it, for 5 or 6 hours, you've been like this all day. And your shoulders have been elevated. I guarantee you, if you just try to push your shoulders down right now, most of you would actually find that they drop down. Now, if they don't, some of you might be in this posture where you're leaning forward or looking on your phone. Your shoulders aren't going to drop down. But that's another reason why you wind up with headaches tonight. But let's stay on the shoulders elevated for the first reason. So what happens is you wind up walking around most of the day like this with your shoulders elevated. That activates all of the muscles in through here and in through the back of your neck. So this posture causes those all to get tighter and tighter and tighter. Now what happens is during the day you're running around, you're moving, you're working, whatever you're doing. Most of us are not just sitting still. We're getting up, we're getting down. Even if we are sitting at our desks, we're still working, we're still doing things. So there's some blood flow that is getting to those muscles. There's some movement in those muscles. So what will happen is while you may be like this, you may shift a little bit here and there from time to time. You're not just standing like this. You're not just sitting like this. So as you move throughout the day, the blood is allowed to flow. And what I'm saying and what I mean is, as you use a muscle, it pumps blood in and it pumps blood out. When you stop using that muscle, when you're stationary, the blood flow decreases because you're not actively driving blood into the muscle and driving blood out of the muscle. So when you're moving around, you're still getting a little bit of blood flow into the muscle because you're changing postures, you're changing positions, you're moving your arms, you're talking and things like that. What happens is, now you've been like this for 8, 10 hours, and then you're driving home and you're stressed and you're making dinner and you're getting the kids and whatever it is you're doing, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I can relax. Well, you've trained your muscles for 8, 10, 12 hours to be up here. They're not automatically going to drop down. So now you're sitting there watching TV, and what's happened is, instead of being able to relax, your muscles are winding up here, okay? And when that happens and there's no blood flow really getting to the muscle, it winds up creating this headache. It winds up creating a whole lot of knots. It winds up showing you that it's in pain. And that's why often tension headaches come at night, because the muscles that you overwork are overworked all day long, but you keep them moving somewhat, and you keep them active, and you keep blood flowing to the area. So you're able to sustain a relatively pain-free work environment. Now, some people are like, by 4 o'clock, I'm done. I can't even sit at my computer. This is a major issue. Headaches at night are also a major issue, so don't get me wrong, but you're going to find that you're going to start with headaches at night, and then they're going to slowly back up to start at 6 o'clock, and 5 o'clock, and 4 o'clock, so you can't handle it anymore, and it's over. So a headache at night is just an indication that there was something that went on all day that you were able to kind of muscle through or get around because you were moving and weren't really paying attention, but all of a sudden you stopped, and it's like, okay, all those knots are going to let you know they're there. Same thing with this type of posture. So when you're sitting on your phone and you're like this, and then your neck is like this. So you went like this, shoulders drop down, and then you went like this. So you're working your neck in this position. So it's almost like having a weight on the back of your head and just doing this for hours. Of course your neck is going to start to hurt. Of course you're going to start to get a headache. I just got a little bit of headache just doing that for a little bit. So if you're someone who sits there and you're constantly on your phone, and then you're looking up like this, and then you're back on your phone, and then you're looking up like this, you're tightening all the muscles again that are in that back of the neck. And if you actually put your hand on the back of your neck, you can feel them activate as you raise your neck backwards. So anytime you're looking down, whether you be on your laptop, whether it be on your phone, and you go to lift up, every time you're basically lifting a weight. And what happens is, so many people will sit here like this. They'll sit there and watch TV and be like this. They'll sit there in front of their computer and be like this, okay? They'll sit there at stands at the baseball game and be like this, okay? That is going to cause knots to form in your neck. Those muscles are going to become extremely tight. They're going to become fatigued. And again, you probably are, while you're doing this, you're at work, you're being distracted, you're moving a little bit more, you're talking to people, you're not just sitting there. Then at night happens, and then you're just sitting on your phone, like this, okay? And you wind up, developing a headache because these muscles are tired of getting worked, all right? This is a very popular position for people who sit in bed, because you're like this. All right, you're down here like this, computer might be in your lap, or like this, and then you're constantly doing this, up and down. When you just stop kind of moving, and you're trying to relax, and then all of a sudden a headache kicks in, it just means that you've overused your neck muscles all day long, to the point where now that they had a chance to kind of scream at you, they're going to start. Muscle tension headaches that come at night, which any night headaches generally are all tension related, comes from some sort of posture issue that you have done all day long. So they are not going to go away until you correct the posture issue, and they're not going to go away until you correct being able to, the muscle length, until you get all those knots out. The first thing you want to do is you want to sit up and you want to roll your shoulders up, back, and drop them down. Now, that does not mean plaster them back. This is overcorrecting, and you're going to wind up injuring yourself even further, okay? So you just roll them up, back, and drop them down. This is where you want your shoulders to be. Now, if you're someone who suffers from headaches, if you don't do this like 1,000 times a day, you're going to find yourself, every time you don't pay attention, your shoulder's going to be up here. I mean, a lot of times what happens is people will roll them up, back, and drop them down, and they'll automatically just shoot right back up, and you can push them down again. It is a posture that is learned, and over time, your body can stand like this. You can just be walking around like this. No one have any idea that you're walking around like this as opposed to this. So be careful of that, because it's not something that you're just going to do once every hour and it's going to correct it. If you set timers every hour, I guarantee you every time you go like this, your shoulders are going to drop down out of the sky. So you need to really pay attention to being able to, in the beginning, really focusing in on up, back, drop them down, so you're able to maintain a good posture and you're not overworking your muscles. You're not up here like this. The next thing you also want to do is set up any sort of computer device, anything, book, so it's here. Now, you don't want to hold it here, because obviously your arms are going to get tired and then you're going to start to do this. All right, anytime that you get tired in the arms, this is going to happen. So if you're like working on here all the time or whatever, if you're a hairstylist and you're here, this is like a very common position that I see when we go to the hairstylist. So you want to make sure that you're just not shrugging your shoulders all day long. But if you have that posture where you find yourself like this, or you're sitting in bed right now watching this and you're doing this, you want to make sure that you sit up. You're going to have to find a happy medium. So maybe if you're sitting in bed, you put pillows underneath your arms so your phone is sitting here, all right, or your laptop is sitting here, okay? Somehow you need to make sure that you get out of this position. So if you wind up sitting in this position, make it for 10 minutes and then move on, okay? Don't sit here for hours. This is what causes neck pain. This is what causes headaches. If you sit here for 10 minutes, it's not going to bother you. You're going to be fine. But when you're here forever and you're here for hours and you don't even realize it and you've gotten sucked in, that's when you have an issue, okay? Same thing applies for rolling your shoulders up, back, and dropping them down for that posture, all right? The other thing you want to do is you want to stick your neck all the way out and then bring it all the way back, and then find the middle spot where that is. That's where you want your neck to rest. A lot of times, if you've been subject to this for a long time, your neck's going to naturally rest up or back, okay? You want to just picture one spot right on the wall. You're going to jut your head out, tuck your chin in, and then find the happy medium where they exist. So that way you have, again, good posture. Your head is straight over your shoulders are nice and relaxed, and you're doing what you need to do. If you do suffer from headaches and want a free consultation with a doctor of physical therapy, all you have to do is call our office at 215-997-9898, and we'd be happy to get you in. Thanks, and have a good night.